guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Sean Diddy Combs' kids and your mama, y'all about to get into a civil war. Y'all, so if you guys don't know what happened, Diddy's release date got pushed back a month. He wasn't even there 3 days, and they already extended his, he hasn't even been there for 7 business days, and they already extended his thing a month because he was making an illegal 3-way call. He was asking them to bring cash in a paper bag. He was caught drinking, according to CBS prison documents, and of course according to TMZ. But baby, that's not even all. I guess his kids looked at it and said, yo, that mofo might not make it. Again, you only been there 3 business days and you already acting up, and that's not even counting whether or not you don't do anything else. Again, he just doesn't learn. But forget all that, because it looks like the kids know who they're messing with. Listen, they said Sean Diddy Combs' children are luring up to seize control over his finances from his mama. Y'all, listen, I believe it. Like, they all live off of him. And again, if you got a rich parent, go ahead and live off. But we all know that there is a wall between Diddy, right? There's a wall between Diddy having access to his money. There's a wall with Diddy getting out. I honestly do believe after 4 years, he gonna come out and in the first week probably have a freak off and go back to jail. I'm just saying, for breaking parole. One thing I do know about the feds, at our employee meeting, I'm joking. One thing I do know about the feds is they don't like to lose, and they are going to be on his ass. And you know what the funny thing is? You know what? I'll save that for a different video. Let's get into this one, all right? Now, this is directly from the National Enquirer. I know what you're saying. Tease of the National Enquirer, but yo, sometimes they be knowing. So just listen to this, right? Tell me what you think. Sean Diddy Combs' closest kin are gearing up for a vicious slugfest over his $400 million fortune. Sources have exclusively told us. Family insiders say that the felon's 7 kids are luring up in a bid to seize control of his finances from his 85-year-old mom, their 85-year-old but still feisty mom, Janice. They said this could turn into an all-out war, warns one insider. You've got massive egos and hundreds of millions on the line. It's not just going to get ugly, it's going to get explosive. Diddy has good reason to fear that his prodigal brood, Quincy, who's 34, Justin, 31, Christian, 27, Chance, 19, and Jesse and Delilah, 18. Diddy ain't ish. I don't care what nobody says. Could you imagine? I don't care what nobody says. Could you imagine the way Kim Porter felt when your good friend is carrying kids after you literally want... Diddy ain't ish. Anyway, right? And their baby girl, Love, is looking to get their mitts on his fortune, insiders say. You know another thing that whole good image... I was just reading this study. It's a real study that up until the time a child is 7, the child feels everything the mother feels. And if you put on forced smiles or fake whatever, it's even worse. The child is so bonded to the mother that the mother's emotions, not just what she says, but what she feels, the child feels it too. Up until 7 years old. So that means when you put the mother through hell, you're putting your child through hell too. Anyway. So that's just that on when people say that Diddy was a good father. Maybe those kids stood up in court and said they ain't never seen their dad this involved, this loving, this patient. I said, well, he said he said he'd been on, first time he's been sober in 25 years. Anyway, in March, reports surfaced that the surface of the kids blowing their dad's bucks. I thought it was going someplace else. I was like, you perverts. All while Diddy was held without bail in Brooklyn's MDC. Social media posts showed Quincy enjoying a tropical getaway, while Christian shopped for diamond-encrusted watches and designer jackets and rode camels in Mexico with his girlfriend. They got camels in Mexico? They do? Okay. Sister Chance uploaded images of herself horseback riding on a beach, while the twins sported matching designer bikinis on a yacht in St. Bart's. Okay, I get that, but I don't really think that's an indication on whether they were blowing through his money, because they do be on Snapchat hard. And didn't the twins say they were starting like a hoodie line? But also, if Diddy was funding that, I think Diddy was funding that because he wanted everybody to think that this was just like, I think he told the kids, keep going like business is normal. Sources says his kids have jetted off to Carolina, Hawaii, Texas, Florida, and other states, as well as Mexico, Italy, India, Ireland, Canada, and St. Martin, all in his private jet. Somebody check the private jet's trunk. Let me find out. They move in weight. Anyway, they said private jet trips ain't cheap. Puff be paying through the nose every time that thing flies. Okay, but they're his kids. Didn't he say, yeah, I'll do anything to protect my kids? I'm confused. Like, what? You wanted all your kids dependent on you and you be Daddy Warbucks, and now that's exactly what's happening. Also, the kids actually do have Snapchat and their own money, don't they? I don't know. Anyway, while Diddy's doing time, Diddy should be given should give an institution like a bank power of attorney over his assets, or better yet, transfer them into a living trust, says an attorney specializing in trusts and estates. They said that way it's less likely you'll have the emotional conflicts and conflicts of interest. That usually comes. This directly from Massachusetts-based lawyer Matthew 𝐒𝐚. Regardless, sources say 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐳 mother Janice, an ex-model and teacher's aide who raised Diddy and his sister after his dad's 1972 murder, won't be denied her slice of the pie. They said Janet has been by Diddy's side since the days he was hustling mixtapes out of a trunk. She's old school tough. Anyone thinking they can push her out of her son's empire better be ready, because this showdown is going to be downright nasty. Now, let me just say this, right? Because it needs to be said. Janice is tough as nails, but time waits for no one. If you get what I'm saying. I don't wish it, but you get what I'm saying. If Janice has all the assets in her name, right? Wouldn't they have to be transferred to the children anyway? Because you don't want somebody to leave and then have wills, estates, and probates take over that. And then you get hit with like inheritance tax, wealth tax, all that other stuff. Now, it is funny to me that they're talking about, instead of just transferring it to the kids, they should transfer it to a living trust. And that way the kids, there won't be anything. But I think it's also interesting that the story is true, that Diddy doesn't seem to trust his kids. I would say this is confusing, but it's not. I think what's going on is they know that Janice is going to have to pass the mantle and all those assets over to someone, because when it's transferred while somebody is here, you don't have to go through inheritance tax and estate tax and all this stuff. So I think the kids are like, yo, just transfer it to me. I got it, Dad. I got it. And he looking at them like, you got what? No. And Diddy wants to transfer it to a living trust, because could it be the fact that Diddy, now that he's going to jail, and Diddy is inherited selfish, and he's going to need, do you think that Diddy is literally putting his kids on an allowance and saying there's not enough for everybody? And he's putting them on the allowance, saying like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And this is the way of him to cut the purse strings and really make them go out and start hustling. I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on this. This whole story is strange, but yeah, so Janice is going to have to transfer these assets, and Diddy seems like, according to the story, doesn't trust any of the kids, and Diddy might actually transfer everything to living trust. But if he transfers everything to living trust, there's a problem. If he transfers everything to living trust, if Diddy gets in trouble again, and it looks like based on he will, then can't they seize those assets? See, Diddy needs to find somebody he trusts, that he has control over, that won't mess up his assets. And it's interesting that he doesn't think that lies with his children. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.